This is the Rays POSTCAST, your instant game reaction for the Tampa Bay Rays, part of the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
Hello and welcome to another victorious edition of the Rays POSTCAST, your spot for instant Rays reaction to every single game. My name is Jonathan Shields. Make sure you guys go follow me on Twitter at Johnny10Shields. Continue to be active over there. And we're going to talk about this one, guys. We talked about it yesterday. Key win for the Rays. And we're going to talk about that key win. We're going to talk about how this was the tale of, I think, two games. The first 5 innings told one story. The next 5 told a different one. We're going to talk about how Rasmussen continues to be good, even though he didn't get that scoreless streak. We're going to talk about the bullpen, specifically Edwin Uceta looked really good today. We're going to look ahead to the Rays road trip coming up. But first, let's talk about how the Rays came back.
This is what you'll be talking about.
And I say it's the tale of two games because the Marlins really took advantage of their opportunities through the first 5 innings. And the Rays didn't. The Rays had runners in scoring position first 2 innings, couldn't come up with a big hit. The Marlins did. The Marlins hit fantastically with runners in scoring position this series. I don't even know if that's how you conjugate that word, but that's how good they were with runners in scoring position in this series. And that continued. I mean, they were like, I saw someone on Twitter say the Marlins like a cockroach. I mean, they just keep coming back, and that's what it felt like. And the way that their kind of bullpen game didn't end up starting Sandy, they went to a bullpen game, and how that kind of had the Rays all out of sorts to start. And the Rays, to their credit, really bounced back. Started with a Yandy home run. And I tweeted out that Yandi home run felt really big because, the Rays, not that they're spiraling a little bit, but they just need a spark, right? And with 2 outs, Walls gets a walk, doesn't really look like anything's going on, and all of a sudden, boom, it's tied. And you can tell the momentum flipped right there. And the Rays kept on the pressure. And not to mention, when the Rays hit that home run, they didn't let the Marlins score. How many times do I talk about the inning after you score? How big is that shutdown inning? The Rays got that. Not to mention, they limited base runners to score position from the rest of the game on out. So we talk about the first 5 innings. The next 5, I felt like were really dominating for the Rays. They got better at bats, even though they only scored one run. And then it all culminates to Yandi getting that big-time double in the 8th. And then they changed the pitcher. Jose Caballero comes in, and that's where we get to our turning point of this game.
Time to reveal where the game was won or lost. It's the turning point.
Now I'm going to go to the steal by Cabby because to be able to get to third with less than 2, and he had a great read and a great jump. He's now 21 for 25 on the season, and he's now stealing what's like an 85% rate. His steal rate last year was like 70-something. So he already led the American League in steals last year. He's better this year, and he came in a perfect spot. I thought Cash would go to him right away and go have him run right away for Yandi, but and I mean, I guess he did, but I thought it would be like immediate Cabby right out the dugout right when Yandi got to second base. But that, to me, was the turning point. And Brandon Lowe did a really good job on getting a low pitch and getting it just far enough. But that's not a run if Cabby doesn't get to third base. But let's get to our player of the game and talk about Yandi Diaz a little bit more.
This is the Locked On Player of the Game.
It's Yandi. He was a triple away from the cycle. He had a single, home run, and a double. And that double is obviously in the biggest spot because I really didn't want the Rays to go to extras because an extra is kind of anything can happen, like we saw yesterday. Yesterday was a little blue pit that gave the Rays a loss when the Rays hit the ball twice hard. So I was like trying to avoid that situation as much as possible. And Yandi put the Rays in a fantastic position to avoid that situation. He's now hitting .333 over his last 9 games. He has like 6 extra base hits during that time. I mean, he's really starting to turn it on. And you knew that this was going to come eventually because his expecting batting average was like 280 something, even though he's only hitting like 240, like 241, 248 now. So again, 3 for 4 today, 2 RBIs for Yandi. Those 2 RBIs obviously came on the home run. And so far in June, he had 2 hits against the Rangers. He had 4 hits in the series against the Rangers. He was really good in that series. And going back to the last game of the Houston series, he was really good in that too. So if you culminate all that time together, he's really started to get back to his old ways, which is very good for the Rays because Junior still hitting the ball hard. Brandon Lowe still putting together decent at-bats. And here comes Yandi all of a sudden. This Rays offense continues just to get deeper. So, and that kind of talks about, again, the tale of the 2 games because the Marlins, I really thought, had control of the first 4 innings. I guess 4 in the third. And the Rays had control of the back 4 in the third. And the Rays, when they were in control, they were just a little bit more efficient, scored that one extra run to be able to give them the win. And we talked about it yesterday, if you guys were in here. The Rays, there's a big difference between going 5-1 on this homestand and 4-2, especially if you lose the season series to the Marlins, which would have happened if they would have lost this game today. But they were able to finish the homestand 5-1. They're now able to go on their road trip 5 games above 500. And I think if you go 500 on that road trip, you're playing 2 really good teams. You go 500 at least on the road trip, you come back home, still 5 games up. That's a win for the Rays. If you can get greedy, try to take, try and go 4-2. But, this is a really tough road trip, going to Boston and going to New York. But, Boston plays on Sunday Night Baseball tonight. I know they're right down the street in New York, but still, you're not getting home till probably 1 o'clock in the morning if you're Boston. So the Rays are going to get up to Boston probably right after the game and be able to rest and really be, be as fresh as you can as the Rays have an off day in a little bit. But like I said, and that's why it's such a key win, to be able to go 5-1 on the homestand, to be able to not lose back-to-back games. The Rays still haven't lost back-to-back games since mid-May. And we talked about that yesterday, how big of a key that was to continue playing strong. It was really good to see the pitchers bounce back in this one, including Rasmussen. And I know he didn't get the record, but he was still so good. And, the first inning was a little rough, but then you look up in the 6th inning, he only finishes with 74 pitches. So that's right back on his average, going 6 innings, under 75 pitches. He might have given up 2 runs today, but it wasn't any like crazy hard hit runs. There's no home runs. Both of the RBIs came on singles, and he did a really good job. So let's talk a little bit more about Drew Rasmussen, because obviously he came in and he needed like 2 innings to get the franchise record for starters, and they score right away. And again, none of the contact was like overly hard, and then the way Drew was able to kind of regather himself and go 3 shutout innings after the first round. And then he gave up another on the 5th, and then he was able to throw another shutdown inning right after that, after the Rays scored, which I thought was another really good, really key point in this game. So, Drew Rasmussen deserves to be an all-star. He should be an all-star, and I'm going to keep saying it, and hopefully the Rays keep performing, so the more likelihood it could happen. The Rays deserve, I think, 3 all-stars this year. Simple as that. And Drew Rasmussen and Jonathan Aranda should be 2 of them. And I think those should be like 2 consensus picks. It's tough playing in Tampa, especially in Steinbrenner now, but so you're not going to get the notoriety some of these guys deserve. But man, they have both of them, but specifically Drew Rasmussen here has been probably second best pitcher in baseball the last 4 or 5 starts, only behind Skubal, who's just an alien at this point. But we're going to talk about the bullpen and how good they were, especially Edwin Uceta, and we're going to look ahead to this Rays road trip, and then we're going to get to your guys' comments. So if you guys are in the live, leave a like and comment, and we will get to them at the end. But first, so we're going to get to all of that after this. This episode is brought to you by Wonderful Pistachios. Looking for a snack that's both delicious and nutritious? Crack into a good source of protein with Wonderful Pistachios. Wonderful Pistachios is one of the highest protein nuts. Each 1 ounce serving has 6 grams of protein, giving you over 10% of your daily value. Plus, they're packed with fiber, better for you unsaturated fats to help you keep feeling fuller, longer. I like the shove variety because I love cracking open and having, the classic pistachios, but they also have the no shell variety if you don't want to deal with the shells. But I always like the shells because, when I was a kid, I used to eat the shell variety, pop them in my mouth. And again, like Wonderful Pistachios, like it says, it's one of the better snacks that you could eat. You still get the flavor of something really good, but you get something healthy as well, which is why it's one of the better snacks that you can eat. You can get snackin and get crackin with a snack that packs a protein punch. Visit wonderfulpistachios.com to learn more. This episode is also brought to you by Game Time. Have you ever decided at the last minute to head to a ball game with friends or family? Maybe it's game day and you suddenly realize you want to be in the stands. That's exactly where Game Time comes in. It's the easiest way to grab last minute tickets without the stress. With the money you save on tickets, you can splurge on food, drinks, merch, or even invite a bigger group to come with you. Game Time makes it possible. Game Time makes buying tickets fast and simple. Prices on the app actually drop the closer you get to first pitch. And they've got incredible last-minute deals, clear seat views, and a lowest price guarantee that takes the worry out of buying. I'm telling you guys, a few kind of different ticketing sites do this, but Game Time is the best with having the clearest view of your seat. That's the biggest thing. You don't want to get duped into buying a different seat if it's not clear. That's the best touch about Game Time, having a clear view of what you're about to sit, and they also give you a fantastic price. And you can take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code LOCKEDONMLB for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem code LOCKEDONMLB for $20 off. Download the Game Time app today. Last minute tickets, lowest price, guaranteed. So let's talk about this bullpen, right? And the bullpen struggled yesterday, specifically Mason Montgomery. But Montgomery was able to come in and pitch, get a really big out in the seventh after Kelly struck out Stowers. And then obviously the pitcher player of the game, if you will, was Edwin Uceta. I mean, you could argue this was his best outing of the season. Picks up a 2-out save and was really dominant in doing so. He had the one changeup in the eighth inning that was just disgusting. I forgot who he struck out, but it just dropped right off the table after being the strike. It was strike zone, and then boom, immediately fell off the table. So that was the Edwin Uceta we saw last year. And in a game where your three best relievers were inactive with Fairbanks, Rodriguez, and Clevenger all pitching back-to-back days, that was huge for Uceta to go out there and pick up a 2-out save. And it shows the trust Kevin Cash still, has in him to throw him out there. And when he hasn't been his best, right? And not to throw it out there for one, but for 2 innings, something that I believe that was the first time that I know for a fact is the first time this year that he's gone 2 innings in a game. As I'm just looking, it is. And I'm going to quickly look last year to make sure it was well. So, I mean, since he's been with the Rays, he went 1 2/3 against Baltimore late last year. So this is the first time he went 2 full innings since last August 11th against Baltimore and a 2-1 win. So, again, he hasn't been asked to do it often, but he came up in a really big spot and did it there. So again, before we look ahead at the road trip, make sure you guys in the comments leave a comment, and we are about to get to them right after we preview this upcoming road trip for the Rays. So again, Rays finished 5-1 this homestand, just a dominant homestand for the Rays. They moved back to 5 games above 500. Now we just need those, those pesky Blue Jays to lose, and they're losing right now to the Twins. So hopefully the Twins can do the Rays a solid here. But the Rays will go to Boston tomorrow. So they play Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday in Boston. They're off Thursday. They play Friday, Saturday, Sunday in New York. So tomorrow will be Shane Baz, who has been a little bit up and down for the Rays this season, but when he's good, he's been really good. He is 5-3 with a 4.9 ERA, and he's going up against Brian Bello. Brian Bello has been a really good pitcher for the Red Sox for a little bit now. He's 2-1 with a 3.9 ERA. His WHIP is actually higher than Shane Baz. In about 25 less innings, give or take, almost more. He has more walks than Shane Baz. So, I mean, he does have the walk problem. But his last outing, it was against the Angels. He gave up 6 hits, 3 runs. And back on May 18th against the Braves, he gave up 7 earned in just 4 1/3. So his outing against the Angels was the furthest he's gone in a month. It's the first time he went 6 innings since May 2nd. He last pitched on June 3rd. So again, Bello's been a really good pitcher for a while now. Last year, I remember him being really good. He had a really good end of the season. He pitched on the 19th against the Rays and he went 5 2/3, only 1 run in that game as the Rays got shut out in Boston that day. So, Brandon Lowe got a hit off him. So did Yandy, and I expect both those guys, or Yandy did, but Brandon Lowe got a hit off him. So did Aranda. So I expect both those guys to be in the lineup tomorrow, obviously. So, so he has success against the Rays. I mean, he faced them twice last year. The Red Sox, he won both his starts against the Rays last year. So hopefully the Rays can get on him and start the homestand off in a big way. Obviously, the Red Sox, Bregman went down for them about a week ago now, maybe 10 days. So, I mean, we all know Rafael Devers is their guy. He's up to 13 home runs this year. He's hitting 280 after getting off to that kind of historic slow start for him. Now, it was one like he was historically bad, but all the drama that was around him in the offseason, he just wasn't the best. So to preview just a little bit more of the series, it'll be Baz, Giolito, and Walker Buehler for Boston, and Ryan Pepio and Littell will follow Baz. So it'll be Baz versus Bello, Ryan Pepio versus Giolito, and then Littell versus Walker Buehler for Boston. And then, when they go to New York, they face Clay Holmes. If you guys remember Clay Holmes, he was a reliever for a long time, and he's transitioned to a starter, and he's been fantastic for the Mets. He has a 2.9 ERA, 7-3. That would be where am I looking at here? Sorry, I lost my train. This would be Taj Bradley against Holmes, and then the Rays. I mean, the Mets have been one of the best teams in baseball. All their pitchers that the Rays will face have a 3.5 ERA or lower, just to kind of give you a glimpse of the talent in the Mets starting rotation. But one of the Rays' greatest strengths is their starting pitching depth and their pitching depth in general. So this is a really tough road trip for the Rays. Like I said, the goal is to be 500 when you come 500 on the road trip, not be 500 when you get back. That would be obviously really bad, but be 500 this road trip, and come back and continue to be. I believe that's 6 straight series wins at Steinbrenner after the horrific start from the Rays. It's super good for them to come back and pick it up at home, as I think they've gotten kind of more used to the conditions. But the Rays have been really good on the road, so you need to go 3-3 or 4-2 on this homestand to keep up this momentum. So let's get to the comments. If you guys are just got in here, make sure you leave a like and comment. We're about to get to them right now. I'll start with Luke. He said, great homestand. Glad we're able to win, find a way to win that one. Yeah, I mean, it just felt like a big win for the Rays. And, you're kind of on edge because you're like, man, the Rays really need this one, right? They need to come out and win this series, because you can't lose the series, the series to the Marlins. They end up tying it, which again isn't ideal with where the Marlins are. But man, the Marlins are a fun young team to watch. I mean, they got some pieces to build for going forward. As Luke also talks about, happy for Uceta to get the multi-inning save, the best he's looked in a while. Yeah, I agree. It's the best that he's looked in a while. As Gary says, very nice to see winning baseball today. Today they got back to playing Rays baseball. I agree. Just a crisp 3-2 win as Yandi hits a homer and they manufacture a run. Yeah, I mean, today was a prototypical Rays baseball win. As we go to Old Iron, I believe this might be his first comment. So I appreciate the comment very much. Old Iron said, really wish Rasmussen got the streak, but a win is a win, especially after yesterday being rough. Go Rays. Yeah, I 100% agree with everything in that. Just, wanted him to get it, but I think the fact that he wasn't able to get 2 down after losing it, because obviously he knows how close he is to that record, but he was able to lock in and still get the length that he needed to. So the Rays, didn't have to use Ian Seymour, who they brought up. As we go to Chase Ross, who I also think this is his first comment, because nice homestand, 4-2 road trip to Boston, Queens. Yeah, hopefully they can go 4-2. That would be ideal. As Gary talks about how good Junior's been through 60 games, 50. I wish that'd be crazy. 15 home runs, 40 RBIs, hitting 262. And as I mentioned, he's hitting the crap out of the ball, even on outs. I mean, he is still locked in. As we go to I Love Lakers, says great win. Nearly thought we weren't going to win this one and get shut up, but happy we came back. Yeah, bullpen games are always weird, right? Because you're not seeing a guy most of the time for the second time through. And when the Rays did see a guy the second time through is when they were really be able to get after him a little bit. Yeah, but bullpen games are always weird. So as we go back to K40, Rasmussen's an all-star, 100%. He should be. This should be kind of an open and shut case. I mean, he's a top 3 pitcher in the American League to me. I mean, this should be open and close for him. As we go to Gary, this is big. The Rays won't face Garrett Crochet in this series, so he is one of the best lefties in baseball. Him and School are probably the 2 best they are the 2 best left-handed pitchers in the American League. So it's big that the Rays avoid Garrett Crochet and they face. You look at Bello, Giolito, and Buehler, like they're good pitchers, but they're all right-handed, so the Rays can be able to roll out their best lineup as well. Speaking of that, something I wanted to hit on. Christopher Morell should be getting more at bats. Like he should be playing more than Cameron Meisner, in my opinion. If you're going to not send him down and say you want to give him a real look, you need to give him a real look. He can't play twice a week. Like I'm playing Christopher Morell 4 times this week. What do you have to lose? You need to get a good look at him. You gave up a lot to get him. You gave up Isaac Paredes, who is an all-star and will probably be an all-star again this year. You need to get a real look at him. Magnum can play a great center field. There is no reason why Meisner should be playing every day. I mean, he is hitting like a $150 over his last 20-some games. Morell, I'm not saying he should be an everyday player, but he shouldn't be a guy that's playing once, twice a week. Not for the capital you invested in him, not if you want to get a good look at him. So he's a guy that I think should deserve to be playing. Not even deserve. He should be playing more, especially after going 3 for 3 yesterday. They pinch hit him, and then they don't play him again after probably his best game as a Ray. So, I hope that he gets a start at least one of the games in Boston, because the Rays are facing 3 straight righties. So I would love to see him, get a start and left at some point. Move Magnum to center, and then you have Morell, Magnum, and Josh Lowe, obviously, as your outfield for at least one of the games in Boston. Like I said, and they're facing righties all week. The Rays are, so it's going to be interesting to see how they kind of fit in not only Morell but Curtis Mead as well. So I'm going to look for a few more comments here, but as we run out of time here, we talked about how Ian Seymour got called up. Not surprised he didn't pitch. I think it's a good sign he didn't pitch today, because that means Rasmussen didn't give the length did end up giving length that the Rays kind of had cover for just in case he didn't. So yeah, we'll wrap it here. I appreciate everyone for joining. If you guys are new, make sure to subscribe. If you guys are watching the replay, make sure you leave a like and subscribe. So again, no off day tomorrow. The Rays will play tomorrow on Monday. And so we'll be live. I believe first pitch is at 7. Yep, 7:10 first pitch tomorrow in Boston. Second time the Rays played Boston this year. They haven't played them since Boston took 2 out of 3 from them. And that was, of course, when the Rays offensive woes started after they scored 16 runs way back in April. It's been a long time since they've played, because the Rays have not played Boston since we started the postcast. And the postcast feels like it's been a long road. So again, the big road trip coming up, and you got 4 against Baltimore when you get back. So Zach Eflin's actually going to start one of those games for Baltimore when he gets back to Tampa. So that'll be interesting to see. So again, make sure to leave a like and comment and send it to someone. Send it to a Rays fan if they're not already watching. So again, I appreciate everyone for stopping in, and I will see you guys tomorrow night.